With how Manchester City turned that around in the second half last night?
Very good, Nathan. Very impressed. Not very impressed with the first half. Most unlike them, because I find with Guardiola in Manchester City, 50% of their success, Nathan, is down to when they don't have the ball and putting them under pressure. And we didn't see any of that in the first half, which excuse me, I was amazed at. And they were in big trouble. They were in big trouble, Nathan, definitely. Neymar was excellent. And I think they were lucky to get away with a 1-0 at half-time. But second half, different story. It was the Manchester City that we know, pressing the opposition, and they were excellent, and Neymar drifted out of it then.
Yeah, well, a strange game to analyse because you forget about the first half. City were so good in the second half, and at half time you're looking and thinking, as you say, Neymar and Mbappe looked as though they were right at it. There was an intensity to Paris Saint-Germain that Manchester City just couldn't live with. And I know these players have been incredibly successful, but it was their first Champions League semi-final, and there was a feeling almost at the break that there was nerves there from City, that, as you say, they just didn't seem to get to the pace of the game at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was nerves, Nathan. It could well be, as you said, I think it's the first semi-final they were in, that they might have to be a bit cautious. But they certainly weren't doing what they normally do and what Guardiola expects them to do and wants them to do and makes them do. That's where their success is. 50% of the success is when the opposition have the ball, they hound them down, they don't give them any room, like they did in the second half, Nathan. And I'd say first half, Guardiola was terribly annoyed with what they were doing, and they were a different team in the second half. And then it was up to Paris Saint-Germain to respond, and they didn't do so. Neymar was excellent in the first half, but really in the second half, he should, if he's supposed to be the world-class player he is, recognise after 5 minutes that this is a different second half, and I have to influence this game in a different way. That never happened, Nathan, and City went on to win, as we know, and were very, very impressive in the second half. But they were the City that have been successful under Guardiola since he's gone there, and other teams, where they hound down the opposition. And everybody, well, most people know in football, the less space you give the opposition, the less they're going to play well. And it just didn't happen. But they got it right in the second half. Lucky enough, I mean, sometimes you can pay the price in the first half of being 2 or 3 down, which they could have been.
Yeah.
But the second half was more like the City that Guardiola would want.
And was that just a change in attitude? Was it the hairdryer treatment from Pep at half-time that made the difference, or did you see a change in tactics, a change in style from City?
No, there was no change in tactics, Nathan, at all. There was no change in positional sense. We'll do it this way, that way. I think when he came in at half-time, I'd say he was raging with them.
Yeah.
What are you doing? This is not us. This is not the way we play. This is not the way we hound down people. And they did it immediately in the second half. Now, I don't know why they did it in the first half. I suppose nobody knows. And I'd say Guardiola wouldn't know. There'd be no instructions to do what they did. Let's put it that way. And now we saw City in the second half. And now we saw Neymar go out of the game. Because it's all about time and space, Neymar. When you're playing at that level, it's all about time and space. If you give players time, average players time on the ball, they can have a look up and they can make the pass. What the great players do when they're under pressure, like City put them under pressure, they're still able to do it. And Neymar didn't do it. He disappeared from the game. But that's what you have to do. I mean, that's what makes the great players. You see them all. Messi in certain games, he always has time and space, can do what he wants to, not do what he wants to do, but do what he has to do. And City have with Guardiola, definitely has been 50% of his success when they don't have the ball, is making it hell, as they call it, for the opposition.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It certainly wasn't. They got so much room. It could have been 2 or 3 by half time, So they got away with it in a certain way, but definitely made up for it in the second half. But ideally for a manager, you don't want to be making up for it in the second half, Nathan.
Yeah.
You know?
What have you made of Phil Foden both last night and this season? 20 years of age, like a very slight looking player, but seems to still have enough strength to constantly hold off players when they're trying to tackle him. He's been talked about as potentially one of the great English players. Do you see that level of talent in him?
Well, it's debatable whether he's going to be one of the great England players. I think he has enough with hard work and improvement to become a great player. But still a lot of work to be done. I think he has the base for it in terms of his control is good, he can beat players, he can score goals, Nathan. I think he's brave enough to do what needs to be done. And if he improves at the rate that you would expect him to improve, then he could be one of the greats. But that's a long way off from now. But he's very, very good. He's only 20. And he has now what a lot of players don't have, or you don't see in teams. He's able to go past people.
Yeah.
Nathan. Now, you know, in the old days, in my day, you paid out to the wingers, and you expected them to go by them. You know, wingers have gone out of the game mostly now, and there's very few players in the game actually take on the opposition and go past them. That's why we get a lot of square passing and that now, Nathan. A bit too much, in my opinion. But he definitely has the ability to go past people and to score the goals. So he should be a huge asset for City in the years to come.
Well, it gives them something very different as well. And listen, I was going to compare him to Andres Iniesta. He's probably a bit away from that yet, but they're a very possession-based team, Manchester City, so they do want to keep hold of the ball and keep ticking it around. Having somebody like Foden who can just suddenly skip by somebody in the middle of midfield adds that extra little bit of X factor that gives City another level. Definitely, and it's so important, Nathan, you know, because as I say, in the modern game now, there's very few people that you can name. You can say, well, he takes people on. Very few, because the game seems to be, well, you get in a certain position and we go back across the field again. Not all the time, but there's too much of it, in my opinion, that there are very few players who can do what Foden is doing. It's to take players. He's a really good dribbler and can go past people. They're invaluable, those places there, and that's the way he should be, and I think he will be for City. Where would you play him? Where do you think his position, his best position is? At the moment, I'd play him on the left wing. Right. Because I think Sterling has totally gone off his game. The last few matches I've seen him, he's been terrible. He's been no good whatsoever. And Guardiola's left him out of a big game. And I think he's only played like once or twice in the last 8 to 10 games. And even in the old League Cup final on the weekend, I thought he was poor. I saw some of the papers where he said he was back to his best. I didn't see it. Right. I thought he was poor. And I would play Foden in the position on the left wing, because that's where most of your good play ends up, Nathan. You know, when you're playing well, it usually ends up on the flanks. And to be fair to Mahrez on the other side, I know he's left-footed, but he does take people on, and he can go past them. And that's what City need, you know, because they have a lot of players who can play it square and in and whatever it has to go. But you need somebody doing something special when you have that much possession of the ball. And Foden is capable of doing it. And I think Mahrez, not as good as Foden beating people, but he can do it from the right-hand side. Yeah. Because if you're not doing that, Nathan, you come back out and you start all over again. Yeah. You know, that was the idea of wingers like in my day. If you get it out to them, and their job now is to take the full back on, because that's where your good play ends. But that's not happening now. And it's not happening with Sterling. If he gets it out there, he's coming onto his right foot, back inside again. Now you're starting all over again, really. So that's why Foden will be so exceptional if he improves. Well, he's very good now, but if he gets better and better, he's only 20, so he has the time to do it, and he'd be a huge asset for City, because City will always have a lot of possession of the ball, Nathan. And if they have it, he'll get a lot of possession of the ball. Then he can do his stuff. The second goal for City last night, the Mahrez free kick, the wall didn't stand up, and you couple that with what happened in the Chelsea game in the short corner. I think this is something you touch on a lot, that as brilliant as the managers are with game plans and tactics, quite often it is these simple, basic errors that end up deciding these huge matches.
Definitely. Now, our listeners might be fed up with me talking about it, but it's so vital. You know, Pochettino, like his name, well, and a lot of people, tactics, 4-3-3 and 4-2-2 and 2-1. You know, the main thing with a manager, Nathan, is getting the real basics right. And the basics are look, very, very simple things. Don't allow a corner kick to be taken, a short corner kick to be taken about you. Mark for the throw-ins, free kicks for you, free kicks again. These are all things I've said before in your programme. These are the things that make the game. It's not the big things that you hear a lot of the pundits talking about on the game, about they have to go to 4-3-3 or they have to go to 4. A lot of it's made up, and winning things made up of simple, what look like simple things. As you said, the corner kick in the Real Madrid match, when Chelsea were winning, they had 3 players out on the corner, and the ball finished up at the left back on the edge of the box. And the reason you do that, Nathan, to take the short corners, is that from the ordinary corner, people are marked up. When you take a short corner, it gives license to your attackers to lose your markers. That's the main thing in it. And that's what happened in that particular goal. Because the left back finished up making the cross from that angle. And in the meantime, they'd lost players. And then came across then to Benzema, who did really well to score. And the second big thing in situations like that was the free kick in the Paris Saint-Germain match, the City game, where Mahrez scored. If you look at it again, the wall, if you put a wall up, Nathan, that wall is not supposed to move. That's what the wall is for. Now, if you look at that all over, there are 2 or 3 players jumping and left a gap in the wall. Now, then the goalkeeper's no chance, because the goalkeeper doesn't see it to start with, and he's only covering the side that he has to cover. The wall is supposed to do the other half of the goal, and if you look at that goal again, it's a joke of a wall. 2 or 3 players jumped, left a big gap in between, and that's where it went through. Whereas, again, you'd have to look at it from Chelsea's point of view. Sorry, I mean
Manchester City's point of view, yeah.
Sorry, the Manchester City, and you'd have to look at Pochettino.
Yeah,
and that should never happen. You know, I've said a few things like this with you, Dan. I don't be bored in your listeners, Nathan. That there are certain things that you can do, and they talk about big tactics, but a lot of the things that you can do before a match or when you come to a club first, you know you're going to have goal kicks for you, goal kicks against you. Free kicks for you on the edge of the box, free kicks again, corner kicks for corner kicks. So what you have to do as a manager and a coach, in my opinion, is to make sure the wall is right. You don't give an easy goal away. A short corner kick, you don't let it happen. These are things that you can plan before a match. There's lots of things you can't plan, Nathan, before a match, because somebody like Neymar gets and produces a bit of magic, and the ball can be in the back of the net. But there's basic things that you can do about defending corner kicks, defending free kicks, defending throw-ins, all those things you can do. And if you look at the 2 matches over the last 2 days, one was a bad marking from a corner kick that allowed Madrid in, and the other one was the free kick that we're talking about that Mahrez scored, which shouldn't have happened. You know, these are goals in not many goals being scored, Nathan.
Yeah.
That's my take on it anyway. I don't want to bore your listeners.
No. I think
it's so vital.
Yeah,
it's so vital, Nathan. You know, it's so vital to get these things right, because there's so many goals scored from them that definitely can be avoided.
All our football here and Off the Ball is with thanks to Paddy Power. For information on responsible gambling, visit gamblingcare.ie. Just briefly, John, on the Chelsea-Real Madrid game, it was a coming together of 2 of your favourite midfielders, Luka Modric and N'Golo Kante. Kante with the upper hand in that match?
I'd say so. I think Modric, as you know, I love Modric. I think he's gone past his best, Nathan. I don't think he can cover the ground and be as influential as he has been at his best. Now, he's still terrific. But Kante, they're not quite the same. Kante makes it his own. He's not a schemer. He's just an all-round player who can win the ball. But I think, I don't think Jorginho has it. Actually, I just thought of something. Do you remember the young lad, Billy Kilmore?
Yeah.
I would have him in the team instead of Jorginho.
Right.
I think Jorginho is very, he gets it in, he's going to pass it back. He doesn't look to get turned around on it and get at the opposition. Very, very conservative in his play, in my opinion. And if you've got somebody like that in midfield, you're not going to create an awful lot for him. Kante is terrific at what he does. All action, wins the ball, gets it from A to B. He's a terrific lad.
Chelsea, sorry, we are short in time, John. Chelsea, did they leave that one behind?
I don't know. Madrid, I think they were brilliant in the first half, Nathan. Plenty of energy, actually, were too energetic for Madrid. And I think in the second half, they ran out of steam a little bit. And that's at the time that they needed a midfield player particularly to slow the pace down. You know what I mean? Like, get the ball, give it here, give it there. They'd nobody to do that. Kante actually can't do that. And Jorginho is not able to do it. So they didn't have anybody to slow it down. Usually with a midfield player, like Modric at his best years ago, if he was in that situation, would know this is going against us. We have to slow this game. I have to get a hold of it, pass it to A, get it back. There's only one ball on the pitch, and the best way to slow it down is to have the ball. And you don't have to be going for goals. You slow it down, and get the pace off it. They'd nobody to do that. Chelsea in the second half. They were very good in the first half, and then Madrid took advantage of that.
John, great stuff. Sorry we're tight for time tonight, but we'll make a bit more space next week. But great stuff. Good to talk to you as always.
Thanks, Nathan.
John Giles there with us every Thursday at 7:30. Next week we'll of course be looking back as well at Manchester United against Liverpool, which is our live game this Sunday here on Off the Ball.
Football on Off the Ball
with Paddy Power. Everything would be better if Wes was back in the team.
Gamble responsibly. Gamblingcare.ie.
Talk.
Born from our expertise in Formula One, Renault E-Tech technology now features in our range of everyday hybrid and electric cars. Discover the #1 selling electric vehicle range in Ireland with finance from 0% APR, €1,000 green bonus and 3 months deferred payments. See why we are the #1 electric vehicle manufacturer in Ireland. Visit your local Renault dealer today. Offers made under a hire purchase agreement. Deposit required subject to lending criteria. Terms and conditions apply. See Renault.ie.
Having a flutter? Top tip, QuinBet.com. Ireland's newest online sportsbook and casino. For all your horse racing, football, casino and more, QuinBet has you covered. With live in-play markets on mobile, PC and app. QuinBet.com. Terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Visit gambleaware.ie.
Our intercity trains are operating at 25% capacity, reserved for essential workers and those who are travelling for an essential service. That means everyone must pre-book their intercity ticket at irishrail.ie.
Thank you for helping us all stay safe. From Éireann Road Éireann, part of the Transport for Ireland network.
Over 800,000 people tune into News Talk every week. They tune in to listen. They're engaged, interested, maybe even interested in your business. Whether you're selling to customers, to businesses, selling online, or getting ready to reopen, your next customer could be listening right now. If you'd like to talk to them, talk to us. Email advertising@newstalk.com. The O'Brien's French Wine Sale is now on. Save up to 37% on over 200 wines from family wineries and famous brands. Discover the French wines we love, from Sancerre to Burgundy, Bordeaux to the Rhône, and many more. The O'Brien's French Wine Sale. Up in store or shop online. Please enjoy alcohol sensibly.
This summer, you can barbecue whatever the weather with George Foreman, the world's favourite grill. Discover the range today on powercity.ie.
Off the Ball. This is News Talk.
So we got loads of good stuff over on the Golf Weekly Patreon these days. We spoke with Padraig Harrington on Monday. Fascinating as always from the Ryder Cup captain. There's LPGA Tour legend Dolly Pepper coming next week. And today we spoke with the Open champion Shane Lowry. It was the first time Shane had been on the show in a while. So we got into loads of things. But first, what was it like playing with Tiger?
I know, especially in that situation, playing with him. If that was me, I just would have wanted to jump into Rae's Creek and bury my head somewhere. That was kind of, but obviously he played the last whatever 6 holes incredible, and he played the last 6 holes like Tiger Woods. And it was like, it wasn't just, he didn't just make birdies, the shots he hit was just, like the back right pin on 16 was just, I'd say the whole field hit an 8-iron, but Tiger hit this little cut 7-iron and, to a foot, and just kind of, it's Tiger Woods, and it was pretty cool to see that. And I think, you learn a lot from that. And I learned a lot from that. And you just can't give up, can you? No matter how bad you're going, no matter what you're doing, you just can't give up. And Tiger, I'd say Tiger actually left that round of golf feeling quite proud of himself for doing that. You know what I mean? And but it was incredible. Like it was almost like you just didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do. You just kind of get on with your own game, and then after a couple of holes he was back talking again. But it was tough to watch. Look, it's tough to watch anyone do that, like no matter whether it was Tiger Woods or anyone else. But yeah, living the dream, Shane Lowry. 3 rounds at Augusta with Tiger Woods last November. He was speaking there on Golf Weekly. There's a full hour-long chat with Shane on the Golf Weekly Patreon. We talk about his regular practice rounds with Shane Lowry, changing his putting stroke, and his hopes as well for the next 10 weeks, because we are in prime golfing season right now, and we have lots of good stuff coming your way on Golf Weekly as we head towards the PGA Championship, which is the next major in just a few weeks' time. We'll have all the previews. We will have the watch-along, which happens every Sunday of the majors. Extra benefits in there as well, and you get all that from being the official friend of the pod. To sign up, just head over to otbsports.com/golf weekly. Shane Lowry obviously not playing this week on the PGA Tour. It's the Valspar Championship, where Paul Casey is looking to win it for a third time, but Keegan Bradley tops the leaderboard on 7 under par. He's in the clubhouse after a 64, 2 shots clear of Emiliano Grillo and Ryan Moore. And one of our really good friends of the pod, Troy Merritt, who joined us for that last watch along, has made a flying start. He's 3 under par after 9. We will keep you up to date with all the football that's coming your way. The semi-finals of the Europa League get underway in around about 5 minutes time. Manchester United have gone full strength for their game against Roma at Old Trafford. Edinson Cavani leading the line, Rashford, Fernandes and Pogba just in behind. Of course, United play Liverpool in our live game on Off the Ball come Sunday. That one getting underway at 4:30. We'll bring you that straight after we bring you the live commentary of Leinster La Rochelle. Arsenal also getting underway at 8 o'clock. They're in Spain to take on Villarreal. So going up against their former manager Unai Emery. So football show, Vinnie Perth will be watching those. We'll keep a close eye on them, and Owen Doyle, the Bolton Wanderers striker, will join us as well to reflect on his career so far. Up next though, it's Paul Ganey.
Listen back to your favourite News Talk shows at newstalk.com and on the News Talk app.
So you've been planning, thinking, wishing, dreaming, imagining, hoping, hankering and craving. After all that, isn't it time to actually get it done? Right now, Avant Money offers Ireland's lowest rates on personal loans over €20,000. So go on, see how much you can get done at avantmoney.ie.
Lending criteria, T's and C's apply. New applications only. Info correct 29th March 2021. Source ccpc.ie. Avant Card DAC trading as Avant Money is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
This is Air Gigabit Fibre Broadband, a faster, stronger, more reliable connection. Your own line straight to your home. The future at 10 times the speed of life. Get Air Gigabit Fibre Broadband today. Call 1-800-500-300 or visit air.ie. Air. Let's make possible. Subject to availability. For full terms and conditions, go to air.ie/gigabit fibre.
The all-new Opel Mokka. Less run-of-the-mill, more turn heads, with a new dynamic appearance and Opel's visor front face. Less standard, more versatility, with ingenious cabin features, the stunning Opel Pure panel and smart connectivity. and less long journey, more arrive in style with advanced luxury and premium driver comfort. The all-new Opel Mokka. Less normal, more Mokka. Introducing the new Opel. Discover the all-new Opel Mokka at opel.ie.
Over 800,000 people tune into News Talk every week. They tune in to listen. They're engaged, interested, maybe even interested in your business. Whether you're selling to customers, to businesses, selling online, or getting ready to reopen, your next customer could be listening right now. If you'd like to talk to them, talk to us. Email advertising@newstalk.com.
Summer of savings at Curry's PC World. Get the Samsung EcoBubble 9 kilo washing machine now $449. Save €140. Save €100 on the HP Pavilion touchscreen laptop with powerful Intel Core i5 processor now $739. Get the Sony Bravia 55-inch 4K HDR LED TV now $719. Save €180 and save €250 on the Samsung Dual Cook electric oven now $549. Shop online at currys.ie.
The O'Brien's French Wine Sale is now on. Save up to 37% on over 200 wines from family wineries and famous brands. Discover the French wines we love, from Sancerre to Burgundy, Bordeaux to the Rhône, and many more. The O'Brien's French Wine Sale. Up in store or shop online. Please enjoy alcohol sensibly.
Show Me the Science with Professor Luke O'Neill.
A News Talk original podcast series focusing on different issues, from the serious to the silly, all explained through science. Catch up on the podcast series at newstalk.com or on the News Talk app.
Hate missing out? News Talk Extra is news, entertainment and all the latest podcasts, plus expert tips and competitions straight to your inbox. Subscribe now at newstalk.com/extra. Across Ireland. This is the IMRO Radio Awards National Station of the Year. This is News Talk.
8 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Owen.